This video is intended to show you how to use the NoodleTools outlining feature. I've already opened my project. I've already laid out my note cards. Now I'm going to get started on my outline. The outlining feature is here on the right. If I need to make it a little bit bigger, this little gray box in the middle, you can slide that to the left or to the right so that you can resize it if you'd like. Got it set at a nice size so I can see everything in the outline area. There are just 3 buttons: the add, the delete, and the print. Everything else is double click to enter and drag and drop. All right, so let's start by setting up the basic structure for your paper. You're going to need 4 sections, okay? In order to change type, you're just going to double click and you're going to type. The first section that we have is the introduction. In order to set that type, we're just going to select someplace outside the box. The one thing that I would like you to include in your introduction, in the outline, is your thesis sentence. And I'm just going to simply, not a plus sign. I'm just going to simply write thesis and an equal sign so I can remember that that's where my thesis goes, because a thesis always goes in your introduction. Now, I would like 3 more Roman numerals, okay? I have nothing selected. How do I know? Because if I had something selected, there would be a blue box. I have nothing selected, and I'm just going to simply add a topic. So like I said, I'd like 4 total. So I'm going to go ahead and add my 4. Okay. Now, the second major section of my paper is going to be body paragraphs, which will focus in on my reasons. That's to remind me what that section's all about. Again, in order to change the text, you double click, you go ahead and you do your typing. The third section is going to focus on counter argument. And then in order to set the type, you select anywhere outside the dialog box. And the last section is going to be your conclusion. Okay. Now there's a couple of other things that I'd like you to do. Let's add subtopics under body paragraphs. In order to insert a letter A like we have here under Roman numeral 1, introduction, what we're going to do is we're going to select Roman numeral 2, bodies and reasons, and then you'll add. It will automatically default to a letter A. I'd like you to type in reason number 1. I'm going to add another subtopic, and that can be named reason number 2. And then I'd like you to add a third one, but only add it if you have a third reason. If you don't, do not add it. Okay, this is the skeleton structure of our paper. Now, you're going to go through, the easiest thing that you could do is you can copy and paste your thesis from your dashboard of your project. And so here's my thesis that I've already entered. I'm going to copy it using my shortcuts. I'll come back over here. Remember, double click, put my cursor where I want it, and then use the shortcut to go ahead and enter it. Now, it doesn't look like you can see it. But once you select outside that dialog box, the entire thing will appear. Again, it defaults back to this little space, so if I want to see it a little bit better, then I can do that. There is a bar down here that moves it a little bit more clearly for you. Do what's comfortable at this point in time for you. The next thing that I need to do now is to add my reasons. Okay, well, I've got my thesis, and if you remember what a thesis is going to have my opinion plus my reasons. So looking at the thesis, the first thing is it's going to save money. Now, it's okay to go ahead and do abbreviations here. You don't have to write complete sentences. If you'd like to, go right ahead. My second reason is that it's going to make responsible digital citizens. And my third reason is that it enhances learning. Okay, I'm choosing not to do complete sentences. Okay, so this looks like I've gotten pretty darn far, but now we need to add the note cards to it. Now I've already gone through and I've already kind of separated my note cards out. I've spent a little bit of time working on them. Okay, I'm going to move this back over so you can see all my note cards. My first 3 note cards are all focused on saving money. My next pile of note cards is all focused on making responsible digital citizens. And my last pile of note cards all focus on how it enhances learning. At this point, it's just a matter of dragging and dropping. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to highlight, before I drop it, highlight the topic that I want it to drop under. I let go of the button on my mouse or on the keypad, and it drops it in. Notice here there's a little check mark that appears next to the index cards so that I know that I've used it, so that I don't doubly use it. And now it's just a matter of dragging and dropping. What's nice about this is that I now can go through and really look at my evidence, and I can say, gosh, let's see, the technology age, yeah, that looks good. Utilize technology, digitally literate. Now, these are like specific examples. So really, I don't think that it talks about one major criticism. And I could go in and look at the details of that card. Let me do that just real quick. And, I decide that maybe this is not really a card that I want to put in this area. So I'm just going to skip it for now. So now I'm going to come back here. I'm going to drag these over here. Okay. Now, maybe these specific examples, I've decided that, okay, well, I put a little tag here. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But this one here, I know this was something, it could be a very powerful tool, but I remember this was a really good one for my counter argument. So I'm going to drop this one over here in counter argument. And that's really all there is to it. Now, what happens if you move things around by accident? It's all in the principle of dragging and dropping. And let me show you. Let's say I've decided my reason 3, I really don't want to be my reason 3. I want it to be my reason 1. In order to move it, I simply select it and I hold. This is a little tricky. You've got to select it and then you just drag it up. Notice that when you go someplace over where it will drop, there's a little arrow there that appears. I can put it either right underneath this reason or right before this reason. If I come up here to A, I can either put it right below A, right in A, or right above A. Let's say I want to make reason 3 my reason 1. So I want to put it right before A. So here it is. I'm just going to drop it now. And notice it's moved it, note cards and all. Now it's just a matter of going through and changing my numbers. And that is how you use the outline feature. You make a mistake, you can come up here and delete. When it gets time for writing, instead of coming back in here and using this outline view, it's a little clunky. What's nice is that you can go ahead and then print it. You can print it the outline only if you'd like, which I don't recommend, or you can print the outline with your note cards. Let me show you what that looks like. You can export it as a web page to your Google Docs. You can do it to Word or as an RTF file. Honestly, I would import it right into a Google Docs. That way you can either use it in the paper that you've set up or you can use it side by side in a split screen. You can tell it what you want it to see. So you probably don't want to use your history or creator. You probably want to keep your my ideas, your paraphrase, the quotations, definitely the source. I'd probably get rid of the URL because you won't need it in the outline because you have that available to you in NoodleTools. Page numbers don't really apply because we've done our project primarily digitally, so we don't really have any. And tags and cues, you can leave them if you'd like, if you've used them. If you didn't use them, then you can leave them, check them, uncheck them. It's your choice. I don't like to clutter it too much, so I usually uncheck those. I submit it, and it came out as a default to the web page, so it's just here. But you can see, here's my introduction, there's my thesis, here's my first body reason, here is my first note card, my second note card, my third note card, and so on and so forth. Okay? And I guess that's it with how to use the outlining feature.